Big welcome and good morning. Today we'll be looking at Buhari's visits to troubled states, rather, and we'll be looking at reactions and, of course, seeing what people think or how he was received during this visit. And of course, we'll be having guests here in Lagos, Ibadan, and Abuja.
Yes, a lot of reactions have continued to trail that development with lots of people, sampling various opinions around that particular issue. Opinion polls have it that a lot of people are not really too happy. Some say it is a huge disappointment. What are your own reactions? Would love to hear from you on the show this morning, so feel free to interact with us. Whatever you perceive as regards the president's visits to this state and that are troubled and ravaged by insurgency and of course Fulani herdsmen militia. Let us know your opinion. You can do that by sending an SMS. The number will be displayed shortly, or you can interact with us via our various social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, using the hashtag Galaxy. Today, without further ado, we'll just start here with Lagos. We have a legal practitioner with us, and he is Barrister Ajibola Akaka. Many thanks for joining us on Galaxy today.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, welcome, sir.
Yeah, good morning, viewers.
Okay, we're looking at Buhari's visits to troubled states. A whole lot of people are thinking that the visit is rather late. Some of the opinion that since he's a father figure to the nation, this visit should have been earlier. But according to one of his reactions, he said that he didn't want to visit immediately. He preferred to observe the crisis from Aso Rock. But your own opinion, how would you react to his visits?
Well, as the chief security officer of the nation called Nigeria, if something of this kind is happening, it behoves on him to take drastic measure and steps. And yes, I join others in saying that his visit to the areas is belated. He ought to have taken steps, not when people start complaining and condemning his action, and even saying that it's not the VP, that is the vice president, that's supposed to visit some of those troubled areas. At least with his experience too, as a former military officer, military head of state, he ought to know the importance of security. And not just security of property, but of life. When people are being killed on daily basis for no just cause, I believe the president, the chief security officer of the nation, ought to take immediate measure to make sure that he averts all those dangers and killings of the citizens of the country.
Are you saying that his visit would have somehow made things better? Maybe there wouldn't have been serial.
At least on the spot assessment, of the president, at least will have been able to save something. It's not only him that is just visiting the place. He has other members. The ministers are there. The chief army officer and other security agencies will definitely follow him, and they will be able to have on-the-spot assessment of the situation in that state and form opinion and then take necessary steps. Even if those security agencies or those involved in the security of the country are not doing enough, at least their on-the-spot assessment will go a long way to keep them on their toes and for them to be able to know that these are the necessary areas for which they will need to attack and resolve the situation.
Okay, well, one of the key issues that came out of all of this was that while in Benue State, the president admitted that he was not really being fed with correct information on what was happening in those states, and nothing that came out of it was that he admitted not knowing that the Inspector General of Police had not actually relocated to Benue State. He was all shocked to find out that. What does all of this portend?
What is there is that we all know that we have a central system of policing in the country. And being in that wise, at least we have the chief security officers of each state, which is the governor. Those military or security apparatus supposed to be under his control. at least is for him to safeguard his own citizen that is within that state, right? Where the state governor will now have to wait for the federal government, right, to give directive, or the commissioner of police in that state will now have to wait for the inspector general to give directive before they can take necessary things to save people's life, then it's appalling. We really need, that is even the more reason why people are clamoring for state police, so that at least they will be able to attack situation as it comes, not that they will now have to wait for the federal government or for somebody from above to give order before they can do what is needful to protect the life of the citizens and their property.
But the thing is that as the #1 citizen of the country, I mean, what does it really tell that useful and vital intelligence don't get to him, and he's supposed to make decisions on a daily basis on matters affecting the country? Does it really tell good of his advisors and all of that?
Well, this goes to show that our security system is porous. Before the advent of all this social media, telephone, GSM or whatever, at least we have military intelligence, right?
Yes, we do.
And from all military formation, before if anything happens within a twinkling of an eye, they will have gotten to the root of the matter. What is happening now? It shows that it shows that the standard is really falling, and people are not doing what they expect to do to safeguard the citizen. At least I once lived in army barracks. We know the way they operate, the way they work in the past. When we don't even have all those sophisticated and modern equipment that we are having these days, there is much, right, to be desired. That is there are undercurrent factors that is happening. Whether the president himself is guilty of the situation, or it is those that are under him, or some people are even actually sabotaging his efforts.
Or maybe they don't actually regard him for them to have bluntly dissipate his instruction. Is it like they don't have regard? Is it not an affront to the person of the president?
Well, what is there? There are rules and regulations. And the president of any nation is the most powerful person, right? If anybody within his government is disobeying his order, he has the power, right, to remove them. At least he is the one who appointed them into those various positions. He has every power to remove them. And you can see that many things have even gone wrong, right? Whereby the president will appoint somebody, take it to the National Assembly. Then the National Assembly will say, no, we are not going to allow this person to be. And the DSS that is under the presidency himself will now be, giving out a kind of separate report that this person is not worthy of being there. And the president will insist that this is the person, like in the case of Magu, it's a typical example. Are you getting me? It's a typical example. If the DSS that is under the presidency is saying different thing and supposed to advise the president that this person is not capable enough to occupy so position, and this person, because of so and so, should not be allowed to occupy the position, and the presidency is insisting that this is what he wants. Are you getting me? And getting to the National Assembly followed what the DSS under the presidency says. Then many things is happening that are inexplainable, that the people cannot explain. So the president and those in his cabinet need to look inward and see what they can do. Either through, maybe they will have to change hands for things to work, because some people are not doing what they are supposed to be doing.
So what should happen to them? Shouldn't they be sacked?
That is what I'm saying. They have to be thrown out. They have to be shown the way out, because they are not living up to expectation.
All right,
so
so
why should they keep such people?
Okay, so let's go back to the visit again. I mean, there are two reactions now. Some people think that he eventually listened to people after much complaints. That was why he decided to visit. That, well, that could show that he's a listening president. And others feel that his visit now will be counterproductive. That probably if he had gone earlier than now, we wouldn't have had the other serial issues that we had. So in your own opinion, what do you think about these reactions? Do you think this might eventually be counterproductive? And as well as if what people think about the president, because a whole lot of people think that he has no empathy for him to have come several months after the massacre.
Well, coming several months after the massacre, and even after his visit, we all know what happened thereafter. We experienced more killings.
Barely had he left Plateau State and then there were more killings. You know, isn't more like an expectation dashed?
Well, what is there is that I believe the president himself is not acting timelessly. And if he has acted the way he's supposed to have done, right, maybe all these subsequent killings will not have happened. It will have been averted. Right. Now, going there belatedly, automatically, maybe either it infuriated the people themselves, maybe they are not satisfied, maybe they are looking for something from him, like all this issue of amnesty from other area or whatever, that, oh, maybe the president neglected them. He took them for a ride. Now coming to them, okay, let us show him further that his coming does not change anything. Right? And it may be, maybe it's going there, maybe there is even no sincerity of purpose. It's going there, it did not even address what is supposed to have addressed. And as a result, we are experiencing further killings in that area. What is there is that much need to be done.
Okay.
And if it's not capable of doing it, I believe the right thing for him to do, because the killing is much, the right thing for him to do is just to resign.
Okay, as more reactions true, let me just read out more reactions from Benue State in the wake of all of those killings. Benue State government had also expressed displeasure over the president's failure to address critical issues during his visit to the state. The Special Advisor Media and ICT to Governor Samuel Otom said the state expected Buhari to address the threat by herdsmen that they would wipe out citizens of the state. While speaking on the platform, he said the president was in Benue but failed to address the situation on ground as some set of people issued a threat 6 months back to kill Benue people. These people did not just execute this threat by killing hundreds of people, they also destroyed property worth billions of naira and displaced over 170,000 people. It also, what were the issues that were addressed in Benue State? Even the key issues were not really addressed.
Number one, we all know that security is important. In every state, we have the presence of military personnel. We have army barracks. We have police formation. Did he, on his visit, right, actually bother to inspect all these military or police or paramilitary apparatus? And you know, the machinery that is on ground, it did not bother to assess this. Right. And you can never tell, just like when this issue of Boko Haram started, right? During the time of President Jonathan, he himself even confessed that they are not just only Boko Haram, that they are everywhere. They are in the military, in the National Assembly, even among the executives. But he failed to fish them out. And what is happening now too, who knows? Because there are insinuations that even the military people, right, equally assisted all these Fulani herdsmen to perpetrate all these killings.
Okay.
So he actually needs to go into the root of the matter and have meetings with all those concerned so that they'll be able to get into the root of the matter. It's not just mere visiting of the place that will solve the problem.
All right, so I was taken back to Lagos studio. Let's go over to Ibadan, where we have Olaide Olayiwola, Chairman Core Party for Oyo State. We're looking at Buhari's visits to troubled states and the reactions. A whole lot of people have been reacting. Even the PDP are reacting, saying that it's an insensitivity issue and also more like a billboard thing. In your own opinion, what would you say his visit has done? Do you think this will be counterproductive, looking at it that as soon as he left, he barely left Plateau State when the crisis continued? What's your reaction to President Muhammadu Buhari's visit?
Well, he's the president of Nigeria. And my understanding of governance is that I wouldn't conclude that our president is not that compassionate, but I would want to perhaps attribute it to his own personal nature as a person. But then, having become the president of Nigeria, it behooves on him to have what I would call swift reaction to almost all the issues. And this one peculiarly because lives were lost in the process. I know about presidents who, even in the heat of the crisis, visit such places, perhaps under some security apparatus. I mean, it will be backed up by some security officers. So my expectation is that when unduly delayed, that's the truth. But then it's still good that he has visited. And for me, well, it's peculiarly peculiar, and there's nothing you can do about this. He has visited, but then my take would have been that, look, the visit ought to have been much earlier. In fact, it should have been almost immediate.
Of course, he's our president. He has the right to visit the people of Rivers State. But we have fundamental questions we're asking. Question number one, since ever he became the president of Nigeria, knowing that Rivers State is the treasure base of this nation, has he bothered to visit Rivers State? Question number two, is he actually coming to visit the family of those who have lost their loved ones and have lost their properties, or is he coming to settle the rift that is between the remaining few APC leaders?
They listed Yobe, Benue, Taraba, Zamfara also that the president was visiting alongside Rivers State. It just happened by happenstance that Rivers State is last on the log. But again, if he didn't include Rivers State, where we had violence on New Year Day, everybody will be up in arms and say, look, he's showing his nepotism as they allege. But the president is not all about that. It's not even about that at all. And so, putting Rivers State in there is to ensure that there is a balance. There was violence in Rivers State. Yes, it was on New Year Day. There have been pockets of violence.
All right, welcome back. It's still Galaxy today. You had reactions both from Lagos here, Barrister Kunle Ojo, and of course the PDP spokesman in Rivers State talking as regards the president's planned visit to Rivers State, and the other people reacting. Well, we'll be going to Ibadan right now. We have the chairman of Core Party joining us this morning, Olaide Olayiwola. Many thanks for being a part of Galaxy today. We're looking at the president's visit to troubled state, and we've looked at some other angle. And he is also expected to visit Rivers State, and the opposition party there, they don't seem very happy about it. Specifically, the killings that happened in Omoko. So what's your specific reactions concerning that particular planned trip?
Thank you. It's usually better late than never. The president should have gone there a lot earlier. But when president is going somewhere, he should be armed with sufficient information about what happened, and he should have been able to go there and tell them what are the things the presidency is doing to prevent such thing happening in future. Our president did not do so much as with the visit? What are the palliatives he's got for the people affected? The president has not done that much. And the country has been crying, he should visit the place, he should visit the place, he should visit the place. His visit is one part, but what he will do to prevent such occurrence in future is the most important. No sooner he visited, there were reoccurrences. And of course, there is the one important. So what we are saying is that Mr. President should be more proactive. He should, of course, have his presidential aides advise him better on what is to be done. We had learned that the president told the Inspector General of Police to stay in Benue. He did not do that. And of course, the president only, up to now, we've not heard what the president is going to do about that. The country is in serious need of security experts. The president is, we were told, is a strategist. We want to see him strategizing as to remove these problems the nation's got. We in Nigeria, we are very, very, very unsettled. People abroad keeps phoning what's going on at home. Now, the president was in some states, he still went talking to party members and so on. He must differentiate between visiting trouble states and doing party jobs. Party jobs and security cannot mix. We want our president to please go back and, you know, the confidence we had in him, he has not done so much to show us it's not misplaced. The president has to, of course, tell us the nation, address the nation as the state of the nation. Ordinary shooting happens in the US, the president will go addressing the people. The security agents will go addressing the people. This is what happened, this is what we are doing, and we're going to catch the people. And of course, 100% in the saddle being carted away, they are not mosquitoes placed. They must have been sighted somewhere. We have Air Force. It was told under 12 hours when the things happened. And within 12 hours or so, nobody will travel more than 600 kilometers. So it's sufficient for our security aides to know where these girls are. We are fed up of all these aftermath solutions. You understand me? The girls should be found. We should be able to get them and tell them that Nigeria participating in national security and foreign security is genuine. We can hold forth in our own country. Of course, what makes a country develop? Part of it is securing himself. We have not been able to show that. Our students are carted away, especially girls. Why should it be so? We are not so sensitive. Please, Mr. President should do a lot more to make sure people are more protected. And it will affect the elections coming. How do you tell our women folk to come out and vote when they are likely to be kidnapped or taken away? Please, Mr. President, do something on time.
Said, sir, but still on the issue of the president's visit, I'd like to say a couple of things that was said here by his media and his special media advisor in person of Femi Adesina. He said that the president actually commissioned people to visit and express his condolences to people who lost loved ones, and he has sent security agencies as well, and he needed to receive reports from them. And having received the report, he needed to study them very well. Now, in defense, the man said that if the president had wanted to play politics with those tragedies, like he has told him privately, that he would have just rushed into these places and then probably say a few things and people will hail him for doing that. But rather, he wants enduring solutions. Now, that is what the special advisor is saying. So, in your own opinion, and the way Nigerians are reacting, saying that he went there rather too late, and also saying that his visit feels like after the whole thing, nothing has changed. Would you say that what the special advisor said about the president is all true? Saying that he said that the reason it took so long is so that he can find enduring solutions.
Thank you. The special advisor is only begging the issue. The president has security agents in those states who are federal staffs. There is no state we don't have DSS. There's no state the police officers are federally appointed officers, and we have the army. There is no need setting up any committee. Something has happened. It's first-hand information reports that the president needs. and that is only to be given by people on the spot. Once time lapses on it, definitely the issue differs. The president, we in Africa, when we feel the pain, all over the world in any case, the president of US will not wait 48 hours to visit a ravaged, troubled area. He would definitely do it almost immediately, under 6 hours. So what we are saying is that for us to know that we have voted for our president, I think something is amiss with our president. He's such a nice person, but I don't believe he's good enough, even health-wise now, to do all these things. Otherwise, why would he not? What report, what committee? People have been killed. The fact that people have killed is established. The fact that some persons who are herdsmen killed them is known. Then tell me, what is the committee going to do again? Our president should have visited them, and by the time the president visits, sincerely speaking, these marauders will have been afraid that the president took off immediately. It means their days are numbered. But when there's a laxity, it makes the people who did it and their cohorts in the in the presidency to exchange information. And of course, what are the committees? The committees are still the same person who are likely to be hands and gloves with them. So we are saying that Adesina is only doing his own job, protecting the presidency on what he said. What he said is of course professional. No matter what, he must protect the presidency. But for real, the president is not doing enough on our security system. Not much is being done. And that's what we are saying, that the president should come out and not look for excuses, not looking for telling us stories that we are waiting, we want to see, you don't want to rush. The people who are killed were rushed to death, for crying out loud. So anyone could rush there and see what happens. The governor of the state told us as part of his speech that he has told the presidency that there is danger looming. In Edo State, we are told, the people even informed that they are coming. And they did come. And nothing happened. So would there be another committee in Edo State? Would there be committee in Bimpora Court? Would there be committee? Tell us. You see, listen to me. Committee issue is not the issue. We have agency. If those agencies are not functioning well, then let's do away with them. Let's employ young boys. Let's do the right thing. That is what we are saying here. If Kowa party is in saddle, things like this will not happen. We shall make sure that the issue is nipped in the bud. We won't even allow it to happen.
You to the chairman of Kowa party in your state, Olaide Olaiwola, many thanks for sharing your thought and your input with us on Galaxy Television. We're still expecting your comment and your questions, all your feedbacks. You can do that by sending an SMS to the number now displayed on the screen, and you can also interact with us via our various social media platforms. We will be going to Abuja, and I'm still talking with our guests here in Lagos in a bit, but we'll take a very quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Well, it's the president of Nigeria. And my understanding of governance is that I wouldn't conclude that our president is not that compassionate, but I would want to perhaps attribute it to his own personal nature as a person. But then, having become the president of Nigeria, it behooves on him to have what I would call swift reaction to almost all the issues. And this one peculiarly because lives were lost in the process. I know about presidents who, even in the heat of the crisis, visit such places, perhaps under some security apparatus. I mean, it will be backed up by some security officers. So my expectation is that when unduly delayed, that's the truth. But then it's still good that he has visited. And for me, well, it's peculiarly peculiar, and there's nothing you can do about this. He has visited, but then my take will have been that, look, the visit ought to have been much earlier. In fact, it should have been almost immediate.
Of course, he's our president. He has the right to visit the people of the state. But we have fundamental questions we're asking. Question number one, since ever he became the president of Nigeria, knowing that Rivers State is the treasure base of this nation, has he bothered to visit Rivers State? Question number two, is he actually coming to visit the family of those who have lost their loved ones and have lost their properties, or is he coming to settle the rift that is between the remaining few APC leaders.
They listed Yobe, Benue, Taraba, Zamfara also that the president was visiting alongside Rivers State. It just happened by happenstance that Rivers State is last on the log. But again, if he didn't include Rivers State, where we had violence on New Year Day, everybody will be up in arms and say, look, he's showing his nepotism as they allege. But the president is not all about that. It's not even about that at all. And so, putting Rivers State in there is to ensure that there is a balance. There was violence in Rivers State. Yes, it was on New Year Day. There have been pockets of violence here and there. And we have the more recent ones happen in the northern states or middle belt states. And the president had to balance it by listing those states, for his visit. And for me, I don't see what is wrong there.
Because to me, I believe since he became the president of Nigeria, this is the very first time I want to visit Rivers State. So let us forget about the political party, which political party is ruling in Rivers State. But for us to have the president of Nigeria in this Rivers State is a welcome development. And I believe his visit to Rivers State will bring progress and development. And above all, it will bring peace into Rivers State.
Come to Rivers State now. Is he not the number one president of Nigeria? He's the number one man in Nigeria, so let them come. We don't have any issue. APC, PDP, the bottom line is we are one Nigeria and we should come to Rivers State and make Rivers State to move forward, that's all.
And to come and look into the matter of Niger Delta as long as the oil is concerned, because we are the most producers of oil. So I believe we are supposed to achieve our, at least have some.
All right, welcome back from that break. It is still Galaxy. Today we are looking at the president's visit to troubled state, and we're going straight to Abuja. We have a Benue resident who is also an activist, Okwoku Ogenyi. Many thanks for joining us on Galaxy today. I want to hear your specific opinions concerning the president's visit to your state, Benue State. Would you say it has actually allayed all tensions in that particular state?
State visit was a welcome development, especially that President Muhammadu Buhari is the first serving Nigerian president that would have visited a troubled spot in the country. We witnessed the massacre of the almost 2 local governments in Benue State under the reign of the former president Jonathan. He didn't bother to come, neither send any of his service chiefs to be with us. And after that, we also witnessed it during the era of Yaradua, late Yaradua. And during Obasanjo time too, we also had the Fulani attacks in Benue. None of this president was able to come. In fact, the worst we could even receive from the Obasanjo's administration was that he ordered for the death of over 1,000 Benue people in Zakibia, and that which he has not even apologized up to this moment. So we must commend the president for his prompt response and action. And in fact, the governor made it very open during the president's visit that the president responded swiftly to the action, to the demands of Benue people, and deployed the police IGP and strengthened security and the rest. So it's a welcome development, and we highly appreciate that.
A lot of Nigerians seem to disagree with your particular opinion, because despite the fact that the president visited your state, that is Benue State, the killings have continued to go on, just unabated. We still hear of reports of killings of farmers by herdsmen on the daily basis. Now, what in your reaction should be the next line of action by the presidency?
The major problem we have with these farmers' herders clashes across the country is largely the responsibility, in fact, the failure of the state government, various state governments. The governors are doing nothing to put an end to these killings. Rather, they are promoting the killings in one form or the other just to increase their security vote and as well then achieve a political interest from it. It is uncalled for. We have cattle rustlers, we have farmers, we have herders. Now, if a Fulani cattle invade somebody's farmland and destroy his crop. What is this supposed to be done? There should be a Fulani representative in every community they settle, and the community should know the community leader, and the police or the DSS should also know, so that when a crop is being destroyed, the king or the leader of that Fulani community is brought to book, and the persons whose cattle passes through that route is also called to book and pay damages for whatsoever that has been destroyed. That has been the practice before these recent killings and the rest. And I think that was because that traditional method of resolving these farmers herders clashes has been thrown under the carpet, and now killing is continuing unabated. The killing is even, the worst thing is that it's not only the Fulanis that are even killing people. We suspect that some other terrorist organization has infiltrated in the name of Fulani herdsmen. You agree with me that in Zamfara and even in Brunei, Boko Haram operate in the name of herdsmen, where they rustle cattle from people and they're moving to use the cow as a shade to attack some certain communities and persons. And when the chief of army staff was first redeployed to Brunei, the northeast, I think the first set of Boko Haram that were arrested were those who disguised themselves as cattle rearers. So the governors of various states must stand into their responsibility. They must take the bull by the horns by ensuring that the proper ranching of cattle take place at this time, which is going to prevent cattle rustling, is going to prevent destruction of farmland, is going to prevent this nomadic movement, pollution of water, and so many other things. It's going to also eliminate criminal activities, not only for the sake of the Fulani man, but for the generality of Nigerians. And I want to add that when the government, the state governors, will come out openly to say we have no land for grazing in my state, they are equally saying that these people should leave the state. And when they leave the state, there is a national grazing route. So people are not rather going to proffer solution. They are rather trying to take an ethnic or sentimental bigot to show that they are there to defend or protect their own people, which is very wrong. I want to tell you that if we must end these farmers herders clashes and the bloodletting across Nigeria, we must come to a round table, talk to ourselves, which we cannot profile solution. If you have a grazing route in your state, grazing route has been encroached because of the growing populations in the country. So what we do now is to also go into the ranching. And when you say ranching, is for every cattle, not just cattle, every animal should be ranched properly in the various states. It will bring peace.
Let's come back to the visit of the president. I mean, another reaction said that this is so sad. It reinforces the widely held belief that the president is not fully in charge of the situation in the country. So do you agree with this person that the president is kind of weak? He's not in charge of things, and probably one way or the other, a whole lot of people felt that if not that he was pressured to visit, he wouldn't have. Not because he's not empathetic, but it's simply because he is weak and not fully in charge of situations in the country. Do you agree to that?
The person is far away from the truth. This is the first time, as I said earlier, we have a president visiting a trouble spot. And when this incident started earlier, I think it was the fault of the Benue State governor, when he had to go and pack all the elders from the state to visit the president in the villa. So having met with the president, even the coming to Benue would have ordinarily been delayed or no longer be necessary. But if not for the kind of a humane person of President Buhari that said, no, let me still not go only to Benue, but all the trouble spot and find out things by myself. The visit of the president to Benue also made us to realize that the IGP disobeyed the president's order. The visit of the president to Benue also showed us very clear that the president is not among those mocking Benue, like not unlike those who will come and go to the grave of the people massacred, and they will go and lay wreck, leave that place and begin to laugh and mock us. So the visit of the president was genuine, with a town hall meeting, profile solutions, and I can assure you that since the president left Benue, the security situation of the state has been strengthened.
Boku, again, many thanks for joining us on Galaxy today to share your thoughts and opinions as regards the president's visit to troubled state in the country. All right, moving on, we still have Barrister Kaka with us here in the studio. So you've heard reactions and counter reactions, but right now, still looking at all of that, the core of the issue is still insecurity. It is still the herdsmen and militia killings, and of course, it's still the kidnapping, abduction of Dapchi schoolgirls. Looking at it holistically, how to begin to proffer lasting solutions that will ensure that our children are safe in their schools, and of course our farmers can actually go about doing their legal businesses, planting crops for themselves and of course for other people, to feed.
Well, number one, we need to strengthen the security situation in each state. Like one of the speakers said, and I've said earlier on, that we have all these security apparatus. Right, the SSS are there, the police, the military, we have the presence of all these in each state. Let them perform their function as it is expected. We know the way many of these people, they operate in the past, where we even have less sophisticated environment. Now, with the advent of telephone and other apparatus, right, why are we finding it difficult to discharge our duty? In the past, even up to now, the SSS, they have a way of going out to source for information. And information should naturally flow from the bottom to the top. It's not supposed to be the other way around. So that once from the local government to the state, unless we have a kind of political undertone, that is when the information can be distorted or obstructed. If there is free flow of information, free flow of security reports, I believe things will go the normal way. And we will be able to enjoy a better security system in the country. Then secondly, there must be devolution of power, right? So that every state will be able to act accordingly. If it is required for the constitution to be amended, for example, in Ekiti State, we all see what Fayose is trying to do to protect the people of Ekiti. Some people may think that, yes, it's just making noise. That is, a raburasa or whatever. But at least we can see the results. In Ondo State, they've infiltrated Ondo. If the farm of former SGF, former minister, can be burnt down, that is Chifolufalaye, when we have a chief security officer in that state, right, then it leaves much, right, to be desired. Then we've not experienced such in Ekiti State, because Fayose is more concerned about the security of the people. He actually, when he discovered that, yes, he cannot use the police effectively, he actually went local by gathering all these local people, hunters and other things that know the border line must be properly secured. So that if there is any infiltration, at least report to the state immediately. And you can see they are coming gradually. They've entered Kogi. We've had their presence in Ondo State. We've equally had their presence in Edo State. Who knows the state that will come next? So as a result, the state has to be up and doing. Let there be, if the governors, if truly they are sincere and they really want to govern their respective state very well in terms of security, let them come together and fashion out a way out and address the issue with Mr. President. This is what we want. This is what the people want. It is what the people want that should be done. Not that, yes, this is this or that. And in a situation whereby we have so much voted for security in each state and little is being done, then many of them deserve not to be there. But what is important is that let those who are supposed to work, the SSS or DSS, the police, the army chiefs, we have army commandants in each of the states of the federation. Yes, let them come together and next resources together. Let them do what is expected of them. With that, we will have a good atmosphere to live in.
Okay. All right, a lot of people are reacting. Let us see if we can take one or two before we move on. I totally agree with your guest, Tony. This one is writing us. He says he's speaking the mind of the people. The president has to act once and for all and decisive, so Nigerians can be safe.
Okay, so back to the issue of you said earlier that one of the ways to also handle this is that the security agencies who are in charge of this, who failed to do their job, should be sacked. Do you think that sacking them is part of the way out of this?
Many of them are corrupt. That brings us back to the issue of corruption now, because the issue of corruption is what is affecting us too, security-wise. If they are found wanting, they are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Many of these people, they've actually compromised, even with some of the state governors. So if they are found wanting, they should be shown the way out. They have to be sacked. But there is a crucial issue as well, right? People should not just be retired when they have not gotten to that retirement age. A situation whereby military personnel who have not attained the age of maybe 60, 65 are being retired after spending the hard-earned money of the citizens, the taxpayer, on them by training them abroad in India, whichever way, with all the experience acquired. Now they are being asked to retire prematurely. Then leaving those who have not acquired that experience, to handle our security situation. Then this is part of the problem that we are experiencing in the country. We really need to do our research. The presidency needs to do the research and then make sure that all the security, maybe the naval, the air force, the army, the police, bring them together. Then with all sincerity of purpose, compile lists. Those who are not living up to expectation, sack them, let them go. But those who are genuinely doing this job, you can retain them. And let there be a recurrent training that is from time to time, so that these people, they will be able to live to expectation and discharge their duty accordingly. Then another issue is the area whereby you will vote so much money for security, to buy, either to purchase ammunition, to do this, to do that, and some people at the ends of affairs will sit on it, right? They will embezzle the money. The money is not getting to where it's supposed to get to. All the ammunition that we're supposed to purchase, we are not purchasing them. Then they need to fish out these people too. And let the presidency bring them to book. If possible, let them be prosecuted. So that when there is proper checks and balances, then people will be on their toes, then things will work well for the citizens of this nation.
Okay.
All right, it's still Galaxy today. We must take a very quick break and we'll return. We'll read some of your messages. My phone is just buzzing. In a moment, we'll be right back. Stay with us.